Hello and welcome to episode 14 of Your Average Critics. We're rejoined by Joe. So, Joe, thank you for coming out of the woodwork.
I thought you died.
Yeah, we did. We generally, we missed you so much.
To be fair, I thought I died as well.
Well,
Thankfully, I didn't.
Maybe you have died, now you're in heaven.
Oh, maybe.
Podcast heaven.
No, this is hell.
is it? Is it?
Ouch.
Sorry, Obi, but...
So in addition to Joe, joined by Chris, Obi, and also Ollie, who is still rattled from the beating I just gave him at tennis. So this week's episode is going to be predominantly about TV. We've had quite a few film-heavy weeks recently, and especially last week, which was a 3-hour-long Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm still recovering.
Yep. So we got Joe to write down his list, considering he wasn't able to join us last week. And at number 14, because he hasn't seen Guardians 2 yet, was Thor 2. 13 was Iron Man 3.
Shit film.
12 was Iron Man 2.
Shit film.
11 was Hulk.
Meh.
10 was Thor. 9 Ant-Man. 8 Doctor Strange. 7 Avengers 2. 6 Captain America 1. 5 Captain America 2 The Winter Soldier. 4 Guardians of the Galaxy 1. 3 Captain America Civil War. 2 Iron Man 1. And number 1 was The Avengers.
Yeah.
So, Joe, you said the first... Well, your bottom 3 was shit. I mean,
Yeah.
Our discussion last week was mostly about how there was maybe one bad film, which we all agreed was Hulk, and the rest were kind of average to good.
Yeah. I didn't actually mind the Hulk. Although it's not really... I don't really see it as part of the whole universe because it's a different character playing Hulk.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Why were Iron Man 2, 3 and Thor 2 so bad?
Because their stories were shit. And
Solid. I think we all agree that Iron Man 3 and 2 were not great.
They were horrible. And the stories were bad. I thought the villains were shocking. Especially the Mandarin.
Mm-hmm.
He was a really bad villain. And that electric dude in...
Whiplash.
Yeah, Whiplash. Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
They just weren't good films. For me, anyway, in my opinion.
And why was Avengers number 1?
Because it's Avengers. It's just really good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the best one.
It's debatable, really.
We did a poll and it was
Fuck you, Ollie.
who was the best MCU villain, and I think Loki was far and away, the most popular.
So far.
Yeah.
So far.
So this is just a little plug. So listen to last week's episode.
I did think Ronan was quite a good villain from Guardians 1.
Are you serious?
I quite liked Ronan, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, you can listen back to what...
The
to be
purple
fair,
guy talk really
Glenn's,
slowly.
Glenn's opinion is pretty invalid at this point in time due to his listing, so
Oh, really?
don't worry.
Oh, wow, yeah. Well,
Okay.
Joe and like the rest of you can listen back to our list for episode 13, available on iTunes and podcast apps all over the place.
Get your thumbs out.
Yeah. We've now got listeners from even more parts of the world. So we've got
What's new?
Belgium, Finland, Norway, and Chile. So that was obviously Alexis Sanchez when he was like flying back to see his family.
Yeah.
So thank you all for continuing to listen to us and for making us fairly global. So let's start off by talking about Mindhorn. So,
Which is not TV.
no, but it's kind of based on
I
a
suppose it
fake
is.
TV show.
True.
So Chris,
good-
Obi,
good
and
to
I
know that.
went to we went to a screening of a film that we didn't know what was going to be on. So
An unseen screen,
screen unseen.
that one.
And we were kind of, I don't know, what did we think it was?
I honestly had no... Oh, I thought it was Kingsman. Just like a random guess. But other than that, I literally had the clues that they gave. I had no idea.
Yeah, it was like a
That's all.
celestial being or something.
You guys were going well into
Yeah.
that. I loved it. You were like,
Even-
it's got to be Kingsman, then you came up with another film, totally different, but you had the exact same clues.
But
You're
it was, the clues inevitably were like starring, and I think it was the main character.
Yeah.
That's what they meant.
So Mindhorn is a kind of
Was you gonna say something?
Doesn't matter.
action comedy from the creators of the Mighty Boosh, which is kind of like a surrealist kind of a surrealist comedy, really. So Mindhorn is the story of a TV actor who was a cop in the 80s, who played a cop in an 80s TV show called Mindhorn, and then in the present day on the Isle of Man, a serial killer says that he'll only speak to Mindhorn because he believes that this character is a real person. And then it's basically kind of just an action comedy caper about, trying to. There's conspiracy. There's I don't know. Just it was
surprisingly funny. It was surprisingly
Did you watch
good. Yeah.
We watched all of it.
Oh, the whole
Yeah.
film. I thought this was like a little trailer before another film.
Oh no,
film.
that we were burned by that with before Free Fire.
Goes to the
But
show,
honestly,
Yeah.
it's a film I probably would say watch because it is funny.
Yeah,
It's a funny film, a surprisingly funny film.
that's the thing because when you first saw it and it's like some of it is intentionally really bad, like the sets or the costumes or the accents. Like the guy Simon Farnaby plays this is he Dutch or South African guy stuntman. It's just so fun. It's just so silly that it's funny. I mean, it's like typical British humour. It's not quite in between us, but it's
really fucking stupid.
It's so dumb and it's just so.
Have you ever
funny.
seen Mighty Boosh?
No.
Oh.
See, I've never seen Mighty Boosh, but
I think it's kind of similar comedy in a way. I suppose
Yeah.
that makes sense as they made it.
Spaced out.
yeah, no, we definitely recommend it because it was something that I'm not sure we probably would have seen if we hadn't.
I definitely wouldn't have seen it.
No, we would have
No, I
probably
wouldn't have
chosen
seen it
to
either.
see it, but
It's not on my street.
it
Did you
was.
not enjoy it then?
I thought it was really good. Like, I was really surprised 'cause I thought it was gonna be as soon as the credits started, I thought, oh, this is gonna be crap.
Yeah,
And then, like 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, this is actually quite funny. So
but it does homage quite a lot to like 80s TV shows, and even like if you've seen anything like Life on Mars or Ashes to Ashes. I know they're more modern, but that sort of era of TV cop show.
All right,
And then just imbued with just the silliest comedy. Like who's the guy that plays the Kestrel was the bad guy. It's played by Russell Tovey.
The guy who's in Being.
He's in Being
You're the
Human.
only one
and
who
things.
knows this stuff,
Honestly.
but we don't know.
You got to know the actors' names. But he plays this kind of man-child. He's got like some sort of mental illness that he kind of acts like a 9-year-old, which they played for comedy, and I was a bit like,
Did he have a mental illness, or was it because he lost his family, so therefore he wasn't educated?
Well, he did seem to have some.
I
sort
thought it was the loss of his family caused mental
Mental
illness
illness. Okay.
Yeah.
when he was 9.
But no, it was definitely. It's one of these films as well that you think they could definitely make the TV show out of it as well, like a Mindhorn TV show. It was surprisingly funny. It was kind of sweet and definitely would
Worth a
recommend.
watch.
Yeah, solid
The lead
7.
woman's a MILF or GILF. I don't know how old she is.
Wait, what?
The lead woman in it. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't
right.
know her name. I know how old
Yeah,
she
she was
is.
fit.
But she's a GILF or a MILF. Obviously depending on age.
Is that what Ollie's writing down? He's gonna look at it.
Also, like I really liked it. There was just one stupid thing about the film I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
So, is this a spoiler? I don't know.
Oh, spoilers.
Maybe it's a spoiler. But when the policewoman, when they're going through the parade bit and the policewoman's shooting at them, and obviously the crowd think, oh, yeah, it's part of the show.
Yeah.
If she connects with those bullets and shoots him in the head and kills him, she's going to prison. Like, because there's witnesses, she's in a crowd of people, so that policewoman's really, really fucking stupid.
Yeah, but and this
anyway.
is a spoiler. The twist is that it's the mayor who's actually the serial killer, and he's corrupt, and he's the uncle of
The policewoman.
one of the investigating police officers who's also corrupt.
Ooh, didn't see
So
that. It sounds like Hot Fuzz.
it was kind
The
of
greater good.
in that vein. But yeah, the guy who plays the Dutch stuntman he's so funny. He walks around like semi-nude, and he's wearing his like
That's what everyone
hot
likes.
pants,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he's got like his stepdaughter, and she's just like so embarrassed. And then there's a subplot that Mindhorn thinks that this girl is his daughter, but it's not. And then Steve Coogan's in it. He's very funny. So yeah, just kind of
Alright.
typical.
Mindhorn absolutely whacked a woman in the face when he's trying to punch him.
Oh, no, it was from that moment I was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this film.
He went to swing and punch at him, and he missed, and he smacked the woman
Knocks
straight
out
in
his
the
woman.
face.
Oh, it's so funny.
And it was so like blasé, just walked up as if it was like, alright. It was quite good. It only just got released, didn't it? It's 5th of May, I
Yeah,
believe.
so
it was
I
released.
guess it's kind of good that we didn't talk about it, or we weren't able to talk about it before.
Yeah.
So I mean, it only came out a couple of days ago, so definitely go and see it. And Chris, I don't know if you want to kick us off with your From the Archive.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Chuck the TV series. It's if not my favourite TV series. Basically, it's about a nerd who has basically got really nothing going for him in life.
Can you relate? I'm joking, obviously.
So much
Obviously,
shade.
I'm joking. You set me up, Chris. You set me up. I'm
You're
sorry,
a
Chris. You set Chris.
Oh, wow.
Chris. I'm not gonna lie, Chris. You put that in the corridor on Saturday. I tucked it away.
Yeah.
I tucked that away. I'm sorry.
Poacher.
I'm sorry. Javier Hernandez. Anyway. Carry on.
One thing to mock me in real life, my friend. Another to globally destroy me. Well,
All of them are banter.
jeez.
Sorry, carry on, Chuck.
Banter might have to be removed from this podcast.
It's alright.
Anyway,
Just
the
wait
guy
for
who's got
it to
nothing
settle.
going for him, basically then puts on these glasses, which, no, not glasses. He then watches this computer program and basically gets all this information about government information installed into his brain, and basically a spy
How?
from the NSA. Huh?
How?
It's like encoded in pictures, so I don't know
okay.
what that's called. That's
Well, like subliminal.
subliminal messages coded into pictures,
Mm.
and then so whenever say for example there was a jacket of some kind, and then he sees that jacket in real life, it'll all come flashing back at him.
Mm.
And so basically a woman from the CIA and a man from the NSA come together to protect him and use him in their spy world to solve problems, and it progressively changes as he doesn't want this anymore, but he falls in love with the spy woman. And yeah, and it's like 5 seasons basically about that, and then it's like it develops, so there's a second version of it, and then it gives him abilities to actually like do karate and stunts and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a really good TV series. I enjoyed it. It's funny, relates to things that we enjoy as well, like nerdy stuff. And yeah, so yeah, I definitely recommend to watch it. I can't really go into too much depth about it because there's about 80 episodes, so
How many seasons is it?
5 seasons.
And was 5 seasons enough? Like, did they
I
end
would
it?
have wanted more. However,
could've done more.
they could have done more. However, the 5th season was by far the worst season,
Okay.
and from my perspective, I thought the ending was bad.
Okay, so is it spoilers? How does it end?
It ends so basically in the last season, there's the what's it called? Oh, I can't remember what it's called.
The what?
The Intersect.
Yeah.
So it's the 3rd version of the Intersect, and this guy's really annoyed because he was meant to be the guy who was gonna have the Intersect installed in him.
So the intersect is the
Program,
images that. Okay.
And basically it got given to Chuck instead, and this guy's really annoyed and he wants the Intersect free for himself, and then there's a problem with it, so every time you have a flash or like a memory come back, you lose your own memory.
Okay.
So his girlfriend, in order to get out of a sticky situation, put the glasses on so then she could fight her way out of the situation. So every time she uses it, she loses her memory. The guy uses it to his advantage. Story goes on, and basically the ending is that in order for Chuck to try and get her to get her memory back, he takes her to the first place not the first place they met, but the place they went on the beach, where she said she would always look after him when she was the CIA agent, and then he kisses her, and that's the end.
That sounds like a nice ending.
So you don't know if she's got her memory back or not.
Ah.
And they were gonna. I think there was lots of talk about, because all the titles are Chuck versus something. And there was always a thing about Chuck versus the movie, but yeah, obviously it never happened. So
Would you want to see?
I would. I love it. I think it's so funny.
Yeah. I've watched all of it as well, and I'd
Yeah.
quite want a movie on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it would ever happen, or is it kind of too long now?
I think
it's
they'd
dead
all
in
have
the
to
water?
they'd all have to have really clear schedules to do it, because like Chuck's in 4. He's one of 4's like minions.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Which
Is,
one?
who's
What, in the new
John?
film?
Yeah, and in 4-2, he is one of the. So basically, in 4-2, in 4-1, one of his like henchmen were the guy, the father in. So if any of you watch Once Upon a Time, or any listeners watch Once Upon a Time, Snow White's husband, I can't remember his name. He was one of the henchmen to 4, but because he couldn't do it anymore, because obviously he was in Once Upon a Time, a main character, they got Chuck to take over the role. So it's a different character from 4-1 to 4-2.
Oh,
in the
never
casting.
noticed that. What's
Yeah.
his name? John.
What?
The guy who plays
Chuck.
Isn't it-
Zachary Levy?
You
I thought
got
it was
that completely wrong.
I thought it was the guy who was married to Rachel Weisz. No, that's Daniel Craig.
I thought he was married. I thought he was married
Who is
to.
it? What's her name? Emily Blunt. Is that not her husband?
No.
No. All right, fair enough.
I'm pretty sure.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure he's married to. If you've ever watched Reaper, the main love interest in Reaper.
I did start watching that. It's about the
I
devil.
love
wasn't it?
Reaper.
Yeah, I've
What
got-
happened?
I've got it on
They
TV.
got to what? 2 seasons, 3
Yeah,
seasons?
2
and then they
seasons, yeah, and it
stopped it.
ended on a cliffhanger.
So big.
All right. Well, this is actually a good topic of discussion then. So, what are the TV shows that have been cancelled or ended prematurely, and you just think? I know we've probably discussed a version of this before, but that you think, oh, I just wish.
Now we spoke about it, bloody Reaper. That is a massive cliffhanger ending.
Okay, how does that end?
So basically, he's trying to get out with his contract with the devil, and he's figured out that he can actually challenge the devil to game, and basically he loses the game, and then he's like, "Oh, I want to challenge you again," and obviously the devil's like, "Well, he can win every game," but the thing that will put the devil off is that he's vain. His vanity will put him off, so he tricks him and has like a mirror as the table. So while they're playing the game, he's really put off. But the ending is that an angel goes up to the main character, can't remember his name, and breaks his hand so he can't finish the game. And then he just becomes an angel again and goes back up to heaven.
And he's like, why the fuck did you do that? Now I'm going to lose against the devil.
And that is it. That's where it finishes.
But he says like, heaven works in strange ways. So you're like, well, there's got to be a reason he's like still in this
So
contract
basically,
with the devil.
God's had this plan that he can't get out of the contract with the devil. But you don't know any more than that.
We need to get crowdfunding on this.
Yeah, mate, I want a crowdfund.
They're all
Chuck
going to be
versus
like
movie.
15 years
Yeah, I
older
know.
though. It's
Hey,
gonna
can
be
you
so
imagine
strange.
if
The
your
devil-
average critics are the reason that we bring back Chuck and Reaper and all these classic TV
You know what with
shows?
Chuck as well? They have so many famous faces throughout the whole thing.
They do.
There's so many. Like the devil in Reaper is in Chuck.
Okay.
I've never seen Reaper, so I can't.
Ah.
comment on that.
Yeah, that
If
was
you-
on
you
E4
can watch-
back in the day.
I've got it on.
Might have
I've
to.
got it on
We-
DVD if you want to borrow it, mate.
Yeah.
One thing that I liked about Chuck as well was his little friend. I can't remember his
Morgan.
name. Morgan. He is one of the funniest characters you will ever see on television.
What about Jeff and what's his name? Jeff and
Yeah, I know the ones you're on about.
these
I
two.
can't
That's
remember.
basically in Chuck as well. They work in this store called
Well, it's like
Oh, no.
isn't it like an electronics store?
Buy more.
Buy more.
Yeah, buy more.
Buy more. They work in Buy More, and they proper plug Subway throughout the whole TV series. And there's this guy called Jeff, and I can't remember the other guy, but they're two of the funniest characters as
Yeah,
well.
they
They
are.
work so well with each other. But yeah,
They're just nerds, but one of they're both nerds. One of them tries to be a really cool nerd
Okay.
and fails miserably a lot of the time, and the other one's just a fucking slob.
yeah.
But
it's
he's really
weird.
good at a video game
Yeah.
and has the world record on it.
This sounds a little bit like the characters from 40-Year-Old Virgin. Then they work in the electronics store and there's like a slob. And...
Might be a spin-off on that, you know. To be honest.
It's
Yeah.
very similar.
Yeah,
to
it
be
is,
fair.
yeah.
I've never thought of it like
Yeah.
that, but it is.
But honestly, I think Chuck's the one of the TV series that I could watch over and over again. In fact, I did for a good year of my life
Yeah,
watch
you
it
did.
over and over again in the background of my
That
room.
and Smallville.
Smallville, yeah.
Smallville.
Well, Smallville takes a long time to get through. To be fair,
Yeah.
10 seasons and.
Oh, so have you got any TV shows that have been cancelled prematurely or ended in a way that you kind of wish they'd carried on?
Breakout Kings, off the top of my head.
Is that the one that's based on Prison Break?
Not
It's in the same world as Prison Break.
Oh, okay.
Like, same unit, same setting.
Did that end on a cliffhanger?
Yeah. So basically, the cliffhanger is
Oh yeah.
these criminals, they get time off their sentence for helping the police catch people who break out of prison. So like Breakout Kings, well. So at the end of the season, their boss at the minute is he's a policeman, but he got done for stealing money basically. So he's his higher ups don't trust him basically. So the higher up of the boss comes to the prisoners and he's like, I will. And they've everyone here is they've all created a bond, so they're all kind of friends by the end of it. So the higher up comes and says, if you tell me what happened in in the last episode, one of the criminals dies. I'm pretty sure the crooked policeman, which is Ray, he pushed him. I'm pretty sure he pushed him off a roof or something like that.
What a bastard.
And he dies. But that guy was a fucking piece of shit. So
Okay.
the fact that he died, we were like, okay, cool, sick. But obviously, you're a policeman, you can't. Oh, sorry, I was spamming. Obviously, you're a policeman, you can't do that. Obviously. So then, everyone kind of kept it hush hush and the policeman, the higher up, comes up to them and says, "If you give Ray up, I'll set all of you free." Basically.
Okay.
And then cliffhanger ends.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. But that kind of sounds like, and again, maybe with Reaper as well, that it's a cliffhanger, but you'd probably only need another episode to wrap it up.
I would have needed 10 seconds. just for them to say no, and they were like, cool. And then credits. Oh, cool. That's a good conclusive ending. Thank you.
Yeah, same with Reaper, just an ending where they just explained why.
Yeah.
That was really strange though, because that was only in, 3 seasons in, wasn't it?
2 seasons.
2 seasons in. It's strange.
It didn't get enough publicity. Same with Breakout Kings. Both series didn't engage enough audience to carry on. Like Breakout Kings though is really odd. They had an actress play in Prison Break and Breakout Kings, but she was completely different.
Oh really?
Yeah, I just didn't understand why they didn't even need to do that. They could have literally. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I only noticed that the other day when I watched episode 4 of Prison Break.
Okay. But then, there is hope that they'll bring them back because, kind of public demand has brought back Heroes, albeit very briefly.
Prison Break. Yeah, and that's doing very well actually. I'm very surprised by Prison Break.
Okay.
It has by far.
Segue?
Yeah. Oh.
Segue
Segue if you want. I don't mind. We can segue.
Yeah. Okay. Give us an update on series 5.
5, yeah. So it is. I'm pretty sure 7 years later.
Okay.
From the end of season 4.
Which Obi hasn't seen. So
I won't spoil it too much because obviously Obi's going to watch season 5. But pretty much it is back to roots Prison Break style of breaking out of a prison. So unlike one of the seasons of Prison Break where they do not break out of a prison at all. So yeah, be prepared for one season of Prison Break where they don't break out of prison. Oh, okay. So but yeah, it is quite good, and it's also like. So in this season of Prison Break, like, it's breaking out of a prison and it's also breaking out of a country almost because it's the Yemen where it's a war-torn country and it's a difficulty getting out of there, and there's a lot of like government and not just government, people in the government who want different change. So then they've got this whole but this whole group of people, this one man who wants to do something different, and that's the whole reason Michael Scofield is back into it. But they do really well to integrate stuff that's happened in previous seasons into this season.
Okay.
Like you couldn't have imagined it to go quite as well as they have, but I think it's really good.
Is it with the same network?
I don't know about that, but it's got all the same characters.
It's Fox, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
do they just keep getting imprisoned then? Because surely they're pretty shit criminals.
So season 1 they're in prison. Season 2 they might be.
Okay.
See, at the end of season 1 they should get out.
We cover your ears.
No, this is from.
He hasn't watched it.
Seen season 1.
Oh, I was talking about the old Prison Break.
He hasn't seen it.
You haven't seen any of them?
I've seen 5 episodes of Prison Break.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were like in 4th season, mate.
That's alright. Can I?
Well, he must know anyway that it was gonna.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But no, can I quickly interject with a quick little tidbit?
Yeah.
So, because you watch Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember the bit where obviously Dominic Purcell and Wentworth Miller, who play the brothers.
Oh yeah.
Break, they're in Legends of Tomorrow, and so there's an alternate reality in Legends of Tomorrow. And basically, in the show, they're criminals, but in this alternate reality, they're still criminals, but they can't get caught because they kind of like own the police. And so they're in the midst of robbing a bank, and Dominic Purcell's character's like, kind of like, this is boring sort of thing. And he was like, Wentworth Miller says, this is boring. If you want, I can get the police to lock us up and we can break out just like old times.
Hey, I like that. I like a little.
I was well surprised that they got like them two together. They do have really good on-screen chemistry. Yeah. So
because isn't Legends of Tomorrow is a different network?
Oh yeah, completely different.
Okay, well tell us about the CW verse then.
CW-verse?
I don't know. Is that what it's called?
It's that. Well,
the Arrowverse.
The Arrowverse, technically.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry.
So it's like
not up on my
mate.
DC.
Right, mate.
4 shows on CW.
Soon to be 5.
Soon to be 5.
Oh, what's the 5th?
Black Lightning.
Yeah.
Well, it's got a pilot. We don't know if they're going to go to the series.
And technically, I suppose iZombie is technically.
Are they in the same? Are they in the same universe? I'd imagine not.
Maybe the same world, but not the same universe.
Maybe
because obviously you have universe 1 to 1,000,000. So
Jesus Christ.
so multiverse is
I
unlimited.
thought iZombie was Marvel.
No,
it's DC.
Oh.
But I don't know if they actually
I'd
exist.
probably not. It's too
You'd imagine if there was a zombie outbreak, our zombie people would just be like, "Hey, Supergirl, can you just like come help us out against these
Yeah,
zombies?"
this is true.
So,
And if fucking Rick Grimes comes along,
yeah,
Rick Grimes.
you know that'd be so sick. I mean, Walking Dead's getting a bit dull anyway, so you need to spice it up with some fucking superheroes. Anyway, continue.
Just wait until the new series.
Just anything, mate.
Alright, well,
What's going on? They're all crossing over anyway.
they are crossing over. The crossovers are really
musicals
good,
and
but the musical is very good.
Well,
So
the
they
only bad thing about the crossovers is that Supergirl's episode doesn't really have anything to do with the crossover.
No, it doesn't at all. Literally, it's only like the last 30 seconds was
okay, so update us where we're at in Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl.
You can say whatever you want.
Alright, I'll start with
Don't
Supergirl. I'm not gonna lie, Supergirl's kind of dry. So I only watch it to keep up with continuity, not because like I'm particularly enjoying it all that much.
What's not enjoyable about it compared to the other three?
I don't know if it's a misogynist in me, but I just
Well, I mean, you did say the
It
most
just seems
funny
so
part
fake.
of Mindhorn was when he punches a woman.
True.
So,
But I think I like female-led shows. I'm quite an advocate for shows with female leads in them.
Okay.
I just don't find Supergirl as it's not rubbish, but it's not
Superman.
well.
It just seems fake to me. Like none of it. I can think. Yeah,
Yeah,
get involved with it. Like obviously
Yeah.
it's gonna be fake, but it's just.
I don't know.
It's
I just think like the characters in Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow are so much more likable
okay.
than the other characters, so I just enjoy it more. I think the plots are much better, even though the plots in some of the shows aren't actually very good, especially Legends of Tomorrow. They're not really very good, but they're more interesting than the plots in Supergirl. So in Supergirl, they've got all like aliens have integrated into Earth. It's kind of and like there are people who obviously accept them into their world, and there's people who want to get them out, and there's like government. So Lex Luthor's mum, can't remember her first name, is part of this organisation who's basically trying to eradicate all aliens. Pretty much. So like Supergirl's trying to fight against them, and then she's trying to fight against evil aliens in general and stuff like that. And it's just kind of boring.
Are the characters of Lex Luthor and Clark Kent in this show?
Clark Kent's in it. Lex Luthor is not.
Is Clark Kent in it, or is Superman in it?
Clark Kent.
Mm-hmm.
So why are they focusing on Supergirl then, rather than Clark Kent?
I'm actually because they didn't have the rights to Superman at the time.
Well, I think it's because the Superman movie was coming out, or Batman vs Superman, so they put
But
a whole.
these aren't going to because I mean they got
But
Flash movie coming out.
Arrow was stopped from using Harley Quinn because of Suicide Squad.
Oh, really?
She was meant to be the main villain of, I'm pretty sure, season 4, which was a really shit villain. So.
Ah, okay. You feel like they'd be in communication with one another about this, right?
I imagine they are. I imagine CW like, can we use this character? And they're like, no. I'm pretty much made this
Just a flat out no.
Yeah. So like, if they like, I imagine it's like a group chat. Like, so you're like, can we use Harley Quinn? And if there's silence, you're like, okay, we're good. I was like, can we use Deadshot? They're like, no. Okay, no, I can't use them.
Although they've used Deadshot.
They have used Deadshot.
What are the action scenes like in terms of the fighting and the graphics?
In which one?
In all of them.
They're all average, apart from Arrow. I think the fight scenes in Arrow are very good. Fight scenes in Arrow are better than fight scenes in Iron Fist, which I think is really silly, seeing as the budget that Netflix have, and Iron Fist is supposed to be like some kung fu genius. But
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to be in
What
100%
about-
agreement on that.
What about Legends of Tomorrow or Flash or Arrow?
See, I like Legends of Tomorrow. I'm the same as you though. The storylines can be a bit woeful. The
Legends
best-
of Tomorrow is just silly.
Yeah.
Like that's
Like,
where you go for
yeah.
your comic book nonsense.
But
Yeah.
who are the Legends of Tomorrow?
They're a
Like,
bunch of
exactly,
nobodies.
who are
They're a
they?
bunch of nobodies.
are they
They're-
basically going to be like the Runaways of Net Marvel?
Well, besides that, do you know who the Runaways are?
no.
So this is yeah. Well, no, but basically it's a bunch of Legends of Tomorrow is a bunch of villains, a bunch of heroes, and they've come together to save time.
People who, according to the Time Master, who was Rip Hunter, who taking them out of the timeline had no effect on time because they were so insignificant. But he led exactly.
And they
but
thought this was a good idea for a
exactly,
TV
But he
show.
led them to on the first episode. He led them to believe that. Like, your heroes, your legends, this is why I'm taking you out, because you are important people. But it's actually because they were the least significant people.
Oh.
And taking them out of the timeline had no adverse effect on time itself. Yeah.
I think
They're just so shit.
personally though, I mean, I think it was good they took Atom out of Arrow and put him in Legends because I feel like he was being really underused.
His tone, his I completely agree with you. His tone, like, he's quite a light comedic character,
Yeah.
so his tone didn't really fit. Arrow's quite dark and
yeah, he was trying to be
serious.
proper serious, and it was just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
and he was too much of a pushover in it, and you're just like, oh no.
Yeah.
And they
Really
need-
nice guy.
Yeah, yeah. You needed that character in Legends though, because they have like a diverse character range. Like you have the serious people, the people who don't care, the people who are intelligent. You have the people who are a
Stupid.
bit light-hearted and stupid. You have the love interests.
Yeah.
You have the whole mix. But I'll tell you what, the best villain that they've had so far in Legends of Tomorrow is the main character, Rip Hunter, I think.
Oh yeah, I agree with you, 100%.
Oh, so
So-
he's a villain.
But he's not. But in a few
100%.
episodes, he is, and that was by far the best villain they've
100%.
had.
Okay.
And then, like, but going off a bit, if we talk about villains in general, Flash have just revealed who their villain was.
Oh, it's silly.
In the latest
It's so
episode.
silly.
Yeah.
And oh my
Oh.
god.
Do you which ones do you watch, Joe?
I did watch all of Arrow and Flash, but then I lost it after season 2 of both of them.
We had such an intense conversation about season 1
So,
of Flash.
The
Yeah.
big, we
For
had
like
the big
hours.
in-depth conversation about like the whole timeline of it all, because
Yeah.
basically Flash does go back in time, and he messes about with stuff, or he doesn't, but he just visually sees stuff, and it doesn't make sense because basically their whole idea is there is a singular line of time, yeah,
Right.
and if Flash goes back in time and changes something, then he creates a new timeline. So the original timeline he was on just goes away. Like, and you can't. You made
never
to,
be exactly
yeah,
the same as it was
you're made
before.
to believe that even if he went back in time again, didn't change anything or stopped himself from changing something, he would never be back on that timeline.
They compared it to if you were to break a glass and then put every piece of that glass back together exactly how it was, it will never be the same as the glass it was before you broke it.
However,
interesting.
There is, with this new villain, and I am going to spoil it for anyone who is listening and watches The Flash.
Savitar.
Joke.
Savitar is the newest
Joe, do you
villain.
give shit?
Oh, I already know.
Oh, you haven't-
Savitar
oh,
is
I
the
know
newest
who he is.
villain.
Sweet,
He
sweet,
is
sweet.
a god of speed, yeah?
Okay.
You don't know who is in the suit of armour that is Savitar, yeah?
Right.
So we had our opinions that it could be Ronnie, who was Firestorm, who got sucked up in last
In
episode of
one.
season 1,
Mhm.
and we assume he's dead. Then I had the thought that it could be Eddie Thorne, who was...
Which I thought
loving-
was a really
yeah.
good
Thank
theory.
Thank you,
And
mate.
I wish it was.
Who's Eddie?
Eddie Thorne was Iris's, who's Barry Allen's love interest is Iris, and her
Right.
love interest at the time was Eddie,
Right.
and his great grandfather is Reverse Flash.
Grandson.
No, his grandfather
Yeah.
is the Reverse Flash.
Mm.
He is the grandson of the
Oh.
Reverse Flash.
So who's the Reverse Flash?
He
Evil Doctor, basically.
an evil doctor from the year 3000 who's come back in time to ruin Flash's life,
Yeah.
basically. Anyway, you're going off on a tangent. That's another confusing story for another day. Then we thought it could be Cisco, because Barry went into the future and Cisco was being a bit shifty. Cisco is Barry Allen's mate.
Okay, so not the rapper.
Not the rapper. He is a genius. He helps with all the mechanical stuff.
Yeah.
We thought it could be him. And then, the episode before last, one of the goodies is turned bad, and she gets to see who is Savitar.
Oh.
We don't get to see who it is, though.
Oh.
But we thought it was Ronnie,
I was
because
convinced
she was
it- I was
like...
convinced it was
She was
Ronnie.
like... She just put everything down.
Yeah.
She let her go.
She's
Ronnie
like mad.
was-
They were married.
Yeah.
So she was like
So she
mad in love
was,
with
so
him.
we assumed that. Then comes the last 30 seconds of the
Spoilers.
latest episode, yeah?
Spoilers.
And I'm telling you now, first 5 minutes in, I knew who the villain was. And it was just like, no.
Oh.
The villain is Future Barry.
Future Barry.
Yeah.
Future Barry. Even though we
Future Flash.
saw...
What?
So we saw Future Flash in the year 2024 in the episode before last year, because he went to the future to find out who Savitar was.
Right.
But the Future Flash didn't have a clue who he was, yeah?
Even though it's him.
This is what I'm saying. This is what
And
I'm
then
saying.
basically, they figured out that Savitar had been captured 4 years after the events of... Well, basically the whole thing is that Savitar kills Iris, yeah?
Okay.
So that's what that's what
He's
the
trying to
Flash is
prevent that from
trying to
happening.
prevent.
But then it's him that's killed.
Well, this is it. Well, you go to 2024, you find out that 4 years after the events of Iris dying, someone has captured Savitar, but they're all just like pissed off, like they're all not talking to each other. And the current Flash brings them all back together, and then he goes back to his original timeline. So he hasn't messed up anything because he's in the future. So he can he goes to the future, he can come back to his original timeline.
Man, my brain hurts.
Yeah.
Honestly, it makes no.
But
It
then
doesn't make sense.
So we're assuming it's a Flash from a different. My assumption is it's a Flash from the year 2030. Let's say, for instance, yeah.
But I don't think that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, this is it. So, can it make sense that Flash from 2024 is the Flash that's come back in time to be Savitar to kill Iris to then mess about with
That doesn't
the
make
current
sense.
Flash?
So the point they were trying to get at in the episode right before they revealed who that Barry was Savitar was that if you don't have love in your life, like if no one loves you and you don't love anyone, you can become anything, like you can become evil, and that makes Barry click in his head, oh shit, Savitar's me, whatever. Anyway, so my problem is, why would it be future Barry coming back in time to kill Iris, which makes him evil, to turn him into Savitar, when him killing Iris turned him into Savitar in the first place? So just don't kill Iris.
Yeah.
And you're good.
So I'm going to show you what I think's happened here, yeah?
Is
So,
it-
you've got
Cool.
Do you think
timeline
the
of
writers-
current Flash, yeah?
I genuinely think, oh, Chris, sorry, I meant to say this the other day, I genuinely think they changed who Savitar was going to be, like, halfway through the season. I don't think Barry was supposed to be...
Should have been, you hear it here, it should have been Eddie Bourne, mate. Eddie Bourne.
Because do you remember the episode, maybe like 10 episodes ago, where they had Savitar in like Julian Apat's body, who's played by Malfoy.
Alright.
And he says, I'm the future Flash.
Yeah.
So, in this episode now, when he reveals that future Barry is Savitar, future Barry says, I told you, I'm the future Flash. So, he's saying it now as in, I'm the future Flash, not I'm the future, Flash. But the way he said it before was as in, I am the future. Not I'm the future version of you, just I am the future.
Right.
So I think they've changed it halfway through and they've used that line as an excuse to, we can make it so it makes sense now.
Yeah, but also, it makes sense either way.
I don't think it makes sense.
I am the future Flash.
No.
I am the future Flash.
I'm
No,
the future.
One is, I am
Flash.
the future, so
I'm the future, I'm talking to you, Flash. Not I'm the future Flash. They're two completely different.
This is my theory on how it works, by the way.
So Chris, on a podcast which has no visuals, Chris is attempting to draw.
So we have
Drawing the
the
timeline.
line of Flash, right?
He's
Right.
drawn a straight line.
So then,
Straight line.
then you go to this point, Flash 2024, right?
Okay, so he's now drawn.
So this Flash,
fuck it.
this Flash,
Maybe
don't worry. I'm just explaining it so then everyone understands. We can cut this bit out.
we'll take a photo of it and we'll put it on Twitter, which is YC Podcast 17. I'll put it on Instagram, which is Your Average Critics, and we'll also put it on Facebook, which is also Your Average
So,
Critics.
th-
Boom, segue
This
central.
Flash here has then altered this Flash's timeline, right? So then he is no longer travelling on this timeline. He is now travelling on this timeline. So therefore, he's
I'd rather
created
listen
a
to
new
the Riverdale
Flash.
chat again, to be honest.
It's so complicated. But he's then created a new... So by Barry Allen going to the future of 2024 and altering the future, he has then created a new Flash in a different timeline. That's why.
This is so confusing.
But then, do you know what I never get about these TV
Don't
series?
fuck
Yeah,
with time, Clint.
No, I won't,
Yeah,
mate. I
pretty
won't.
much.
There's
Butterfly
another thing about
effect.
it doesn't make sense, but I'll come back to it.
Come back to it.
Chris,
Okay.
after Chris.
But,
Back to the Future.
There you go.
basically, I can't remember what I was going to say, so don't worry. Just carry
Okay.
on with yours then.
So one of the reasons I don't think this makes sense, because Flash, Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow are all in the like not they're out of the same universe. They're all in the same city. Like they all live close-ish to each other.
Okay.
Right? So they're all in the same
Is
concept.
it Metropolis?
No.
No, it's
That's
Flash is
Superman.
Flash is Central City. Arrow is
Star City.
Star City.
Okay.
Legends, they just fly about. all
Rack
over the place.
City.
Rack City, bitch. But so yeah, in Legends, one of like the cardinal rules of time travel, inverted commas, is that you cannot have interactions with your past or future self because it will make time collapse on itself.
Okay.
Okay. They do that in Legends, they fuck up time. So they're the worst time travelers in the world. Anyway, so in Flash, my thinking is, why isn't time collapsed? Because Barry's met his future self and past self multiple times. So why isn't time collapsed on
I
itself?
mean, the event of his mother's death, I'm pretty sure there's
There's about
about
6
4,
flashes in the room.
5, 6 flashes in the room. Like, one Flash is literally watching on his mother die, the other Flash is taking out Reverse Flash, but then the other Flash is taking out that Flash to keep Reverse Flash from coming.
Honestly,
and then there's another Flash
Glenn.
out in the corridor, like, saving the younger version of Flash. It's like, what the hell is
This
that?
sounds terrible.
Glenn, if you think it sounds confusing, you're completely right. It's so confusing.
The amount of times we have
It is
discussed
so
in
confusing.
the timeline.
why do you watch it?
Because
It's funny.
good.
It's fun.
good.
It's
It
fun
is
to
good.
watch, and the
And
story
it makes good
stressful.
discussion.
It really does.
makes
It
good
does.
discussion.
With me and Chris and Joe, maybe 2 years ago, talked about it
Yeah.
for hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was, it
Literally
makes
one
for a good
episode.
discussion.
And then we,
And
then
we watched it.
And we
We
watched it, and we did kind of figure it out. But now it's just all.
Yeah.
That was
Alright.
season 1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Messiness.
But
This is season 3
as
messiness.
well-
This is a really shit villain, by the way.
But as well, I think the
Yeah.
time
Rafe.
thing doesn't collapse
Oh
Okay.
because he is constantly everywhere.
no, because the time Rafe will come after him.
Yeah, but
Okay, so
it doesn't collapse because he is constantly everywhere and constantly changing everything. So the time continuum doesn't have time to collapse.
I think
Do you know what I mean?
maybe
I kind of know, so.
maybe what they mean is maybe what Rick Hunter means is that if they see that
Rick Grimes, mate.
Yeah.
they see themselves in a different time, then they'll alter time. So then that's what that line of time will collapse on itself rather than all of time will implode.
Okay.
I think it just means that timeline will no longer exist.
Yeah.
Why
maybe.
can Flash travel in time anyway?
Because he
Because
can run so fast.
He's so fast he can travel into different dimensions and stuff. Shit like that.
Okay, so
And also, on your thing, didn't Flash Flash get his past self to help him defeat not Reverse Flash, Zoom.
Zoom.
No, he made time removals.
Wicked.
Did he?
the newest villain's going to be called Meow.
Well,
There
the
should
news,
be someone slow mo. It's just really like Baywatch.
Yeah.
Quick segue,
Go on.
unrelated to everything,
Oh.
but apart from what Glenn said. Rick Grimes. Interesting theory about Walking Dead.
oh
yeah.
god, not this one.
Apparently, it's
He's a cure.
being told through the eyes of what's his son, Carl.
Carl.
So basically,
But how do you see Carl?
old man Carl
Carl.
is telling the stories, which is why
Oh.
in most of the scenes, the episodes with Carl in them are
You sound like Cleveland from Family Guy.
Carl.
the scenes with Carl in them are more in depth than the ones where he's not in them.
Okay.
So the ones where he's not there are very quick, snappy, and the ones where he's in them is very slow.
I just can't believe that series is going to go on forever.
Mm.
Jesus.
Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that in.
Fair
there.
enough, that's interesting.
And going back to the point, the newest villain in the Flash comics is called Godspeed. So
Godspeed.
yeah.
Godspeed, son.
Godspeed.
Godspeed,
Okay, so
Houston.
are we
have a
assuming
car.
then that in the DC Extended Universe, the same laws of the Flash apply as in the Arrowverse?
Well, what?
I would think so.
Because-
in the movies,
So,
What,
you
in
know,
the movies?
So you know you're saying the Flash, when he goes into the future or past, creates a different timeline,
Yeah.
right? Is that going to be the same with the Flash in the DC Extended Universe? Because
He
in
went back in
Batman
time.
vs Superman, he comes back in time and
Well,
tells
see,
Bruce
true.
Wayne.
It depends how you take it because we've actually been explained by one of the scientists within the Flash universe on how the timelines change. Yeah.
Right.
So unless if they're going with that, then their cop out might be that Flash didn't quite make it to the past because he didn't quite get there, did he? He was yelling at Batman,
yeah.
and then some people's theory is it's Batman's dream. God knows how they got a dream out of it. I don't know, but maybe. But God knows what the... Yeah, well, you assume so then, wouldn't you? You assume that they're in such peril that he's come back in time to warn Batman so Batman could prepare for it.
Mm.
Okay, but then that creates a different universe.
Yeah.
It creates a different timeline.
Wow.
But
The same
also,
universe.
little thing.
Yeah.
The Flash that's in Batman vs Superman
Yeah.
looks like the Flash from Injustice.
Yeah, they tried to make it more robotic.
So,
If they
Could
did the
that be-
Injustice storyline,
Yeah.
that would be
because
jokes.
because he was saying that Lois is the key,
Yeah.
and if you haven't if you haven't read the Injustice comics,
I mean, personally...
something happens to Lois.
Yeah,
that
I
fucks up
don't think
everything.
they're going to do that one. Purely because of... I don't think they're going to get
But
the
they-
Joker... I don't
they-
think they're going to get the Joker to come into...
Yeah, but they
the,
introduced Doomsday, and Doomsday's sort of pivotal to that.
I know,
because
but
of
that
what
Doomsday was fucking shocking.
it was.
But I think the storyline's going to be that they're going to have the Bizarro Superman, or they're going to have a bad
Yeah.
Superman.
Oh, yeah, I
And
think
in order to change Superman back,
You just
they're
say
gonna-
Martha.
Well, no, not this case. In this case,
What
I think
did you say?
I think they're gonna get Lois because they need to get Lois involved so Lois can calm down Superman.
But a bad Superman is Injustice.
Injustice
if you-
storyline
depending
is
on how you
that
look at it.
Superman has his child and his essentially girlfriend killed.
Yeah.
So then he turns bad. In this one, I think he's been mind controlled.
Nip slip.
Always on the
I
lookout
think
for
he's
a
gonna
bit
have.
of
I think he's gonna have some mind control or some manipulation against him to
Yeah.
then become bad rather than have a
Maybe.
reason to. But
Maybe.
you never know.
Okay. Well, after talking about multiple alternate universes,
This is
Oliver
ten.
has been watching a kind of more realistic alternate universe TV show.
So there's no superpowers, but it's SSGB, so it's a one-off 5-part series, BBC not documentary, but drama, and it's set in an alternate universe that the Nazis, so World War Two, have occupied the UK.
Man in High Castle.
Yeah, except this is at a point in time that the USA isn't involved, so it hasn't got to that stage.
Like the 40s.
Yeah.
I don't think the USA realised that World War Two actually happened before they got involved. So it started in 1939, not 41 or whenever you joined.
No abuse to any of our American listeners. Oh, jeez, slander.
Anyway,
I think you're all really smart. Anyway.
continue, Ollie.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. I love the alternate universes, and I think obviously you guys do as well. But because I read the book before it, and I think so. You follow the storyline of Superintendent Douglas Archer, and he is so the Gestapo and the SS have pretty much taken over Scotland Yard.
Right.
But his job as a Met detective is to still look at crimes.
Right.
But a lot of people think that the Met are now pretty much corrupt and are run by the Nazi, even though obviously that's not his motive.
Yeah.
So it turns out that actually he's been kind of playing the long con, and he works with the Secret Service from the US of A to get the King out of the Tower of London, to pretty much start a revolt because they need someone to like lead them.
Yeah.
So that was, but it turns out that was actually a double bluff, which was to get rid of some plans for nuclear war, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
is it just one series and that's done? They're not going to do
yeah,
it
so
anymore?
there's 5-hour-long episodes, and that's it.
And
but it's
Oh, wow.
of a book. So
And it makes like
Oh,
a
okay.
decent conclusion. It's not like
actually, it was a massive anticlimax.
Oh really?
I read it in the book, yeah, and I thought this is it. I don't know how I was reading it. I just didn't find it. I couldn't visualize it. And when I watched it, I thought, no, this is just really anticlimactic because there isn't
Yeah.
really an ending.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people die, but like it pretty much it's how so you know in Indiana Jones
Yeah.
where he's like what the theory is for the first Indiana that nothing changes by the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like that. People die, but he's exactly in the same position
Oh, okay.
that he
Yeah.
started in.
Did anyone watch that show with James Franco in called 11/22
I've got it, I haven't watched it.
64, something like that?
63.
63.
I haven't seen it, but
That was basically it sounds kind of similar. So he finds this kind of rip in time, and he can go back to the events that leading up to JFK's assassination. And I think it was a while ago that I watched it, but I think he can somehow prevent it. And I think it's probably about 8 episodes, and it's all about, he finds the conspiracy about people who trying to kill JFK, and it was really interesting, but the last episode was pretty shit. I mean, I don't know I won't spoil it if you're going to watch it. But,
You can spoil it. I'm going to watch it regardless. But you can
what
spoil
about you, Obes?
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I think, so eventually he stops JFK being assassinated, but then he goes back to the present and finds out that it's a wasteland.
Yeah, I thought so.
And apparently, so the conceit is that JFK would have been a really bad president, and basically America's just gone into decline, and it's now this kind of like post-apocalyptic world.
Okay.
So then he goes back in time and then gets JFK assassinated, I think. So yeah,
All right.
it was one of those things, but it's kind of like
Makes sense.
I don't really. But it was one of those things.
Spoilers.
I was thinking, yeah,
Makes sense.
I was thinking to myself, do I want the world to be quote unquote a better place if JFK was
all opinionated,
still
though,
alive, or am I happy that it was a wasteland and that actually, because I guess the moral of the story is that things happen for a reason, right?
Yeah.
I hate living by that though. That was just a terrible way to live.
I think it's quite a nice way to live,
But
because
it just means whatever you do, it's going to happen regardless.
But-
you can't change anything.
I guess must have been
Reaper
quite
all over, mate.
must have
Yeah,
been quite
pretty
controversial,
much.
because JFK is this like revered president.
Yeah.
Obviously, his tenure was cut a lot short, but
How long
to
was
go
he
back
actually in
and
power?
3 years.
yeah, so to go back and suggest that he wouldn't have actually been a very good president is kind of
Is
contentious.
it based on books?
I think it might have been.
So maybe.
I mean, it was a good show, and I really like James Franco, so I would recommend watching it. I wasn't really sure how I wanted it to end. It's like one of those classic scenarios where the build-up's really good, and then you're like, actually, I don't really know how I want this to end. Same with like Breaking Bad. I was like, do I want him to die? Do I want him not to die? I don't really know. I kind of just.
Whenever I watch something,
indifferent about it.
whenever I watch something and Bryan Cranston's in it, I'm like, oh my god, this is his life before Walter White.
Well, his life before Walter White was Malcolm in the Middle, mate. That's what it should have been.
Well, he might still be alive. Might be a spin-off.
True.
Better Call Saul's still going, and they're integrating it a bit more now. I think.
Are they at the
That's
point
got
of
to be getting
Heisenberg
quite
yet, or is it
Nah, I think it's now becoming.
It's got
Where
to
he
be
started.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty close.
Yeah.
Because they've got the guy from Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yeah, so he's in contact
what,
with him at the
Gus?
moment. Yeah.
Gus,
How
Gus
how
Fring?
far is Better Call Saul?
Series
Series 3.
To catch up.
I need to
Wow.
catch up as well. I've only watched season 1.
I literally watched one episode.
I started watching Series 1. I really couldn't get into it.
It's kind of boring.
It's quite hard to get into, but it's because I think they're trying to get the basis of just a rubbish lawyer or someone who could be quite good if they put their minds to it, but inevitably everything goes wrong for him. Like he helps out his mate, and his mate
Screws him over. doesn't it?
screws him over.
I think that in Breaking Bad, Saul is actually the best character. I don't know about
He's
you.
a very
He's
good-
like
he's a
one
very
of the
good
most
character,
interesting
yeah.
characters.
Mm.
So having to follow on
Yeah.
like a different story is interesting, but it's not him that we know.
Yeah.
It's Saul from before Heisenberg.
Yeah.
So-
Oh, okay, that's fine. I wonder what you're doing there.
See, I kind of thought Jesse was one of the weaker characters in Breaking Bad towards the end. He was good at the beginning, and I was just like, kind
He
of
just
done.
gave up on life, didn't
One-
he?
Yeah.
Towards the end, it kind of seemed like the actor was kind of like, when is
Tired of
the
it.
series going to finish?
Yeah.
Well,
like genuinely.
I think one of the worst characters was Walter's wife. I
Oh,
absolutely
Skylar.
despised
She
her
was a
character.
bitch.
We
Oh.
talked about this already.
Hate
it.
I feel the same.
But talking more back onto the point that Ollie was talking about, Man on High Castle is a series that I really want to get into.
Me too.
And do you know what though? I feel like there's some kind of time travel involved in it.
Okay.
Feel like there is because there's a tape.
Makes it look that way. as well.
There's a tape in it which has. So basically, it's the same thing where the Nazis win, but there's a tape where they actually see themselves. They see how it happens in real life.
Yeah.
So I'm
So
assuming
let's
there's
see how
some
what
kind
happens.
of how we win the war, how the war's won.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they've lost it, but there's a tape showing how they've won it.
Ah.
The Allies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh,
that's
that
all I've
sounds-
seen up to. So I don't know.
Oh,
Hit-
that's
Hitler
interesting.
time travelled, basically.
How did he?
Unglaublich.
How the hell would he time travel if he's dead?
Because he's got bare scientists.
He's still alive in the.
Yeah, no, but
Hell Hydra.
but
He still is alive anyway.
yeah, but real life now, if this event happened and he's saying he time travelled, he's dead.
Yeah, that could be one.
Does he have 2 testes in this universe or just one?
That's a myth. That's a myth. That's actually not true. He's got two testicles.
Well, I
It
don't
was
know.
only
mate.
Goebbels that had one.
Who?
Goebbels.
Oh, right, yeah. Fair enough.
There was a rumour that Hitler was living in Argentina with Ava. What's her face?
He was.
Ava?
Isn't that it?
Yeah.
Is this with
Oh, right.
Pablo Escobar and
He's in Narcos,
And
isn't he?
Tupac.
But what was I gonna say? I can't remember. But I started watching a TV show. I've only watched one episode of it actually. It's called Shots Fired. I think I told you about it.
No, but that sounds like a good show.
It's not about indirects on Twitter.
Oh, mate.
But no, it's about it follows a prosecutor from whatever county, and he has to go to another state to deal with a black policeman who shot a white kid, a white teenager.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
Role reversed,
reversed
yeah.
on the whole like Black Lives Matter, all that sort of stuff, and basically they're trying to find out because like whether or not the kid actually, I don't know how this is going more than one season, but anyway, they're trying to find out how the kid got shot. Basically, like was it his fault or was the policeman like a bit trigger happy? And obviously they're getting what's the word? Pullback. I don't know from the police because they're trying to obviously policemen want to protect their own innit. So obviously they're getting a bit of shade from them. So it's a bit of conflict there. But yeah, seems pretty decent. Involves race and law. I love that.
Sounds
all
quite
that
interesting.
stuff.
It sounds kind of like it wasn't Mallory Blackman's
It's getting made into a TV series.
Noughts and Crosses and
yeah.
stuff. So that's role
That'd be-
reversal, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. It's
in
getting made
terms-
into TV series for the BBC.
yeah.
Mm.
I think shows like that are quite interesting, especially because it kind of
Alternate universes, man.
well, because if you kind of think, oh, that's outrageous that this can happen, then you kind of actually need to look in and think, actually, yeah, it is outrageous, but this happens with against minority, like black or other ethnic minorities rather than white people. I don't think I ever talked about the fact that I finished watching that O.J. Simpson
I don't think you did.
TV
actually.
show.
Did you enjoy it?
I really enjoyed
I thought it
it.
was really good.
I
Yeah, it
thought
was
the
really good,
acting
yeah.
was solid. I wasn't madly keen on Cuba Gooding Jr.,
No, neither
but
was I. He got
Who's that?
nominated though for an Emmy.
really,
He didn't win. but
Is he the
got
main?
Yeah, so he plays O.J.
O.J.
Simpson. But
Yeah.
I thought the trial was... I don't know how much of it was kind of
Dramatised.
dramatised, but it was so interesting.
It really was.
Um,
Even though you know the outcome, you're just like, oh, this is
yeah,
really interesting.
and I thought Sarah Paulson, who plays the Marcia,
Marsha.
she was really good.
Yeah. She won an Emmy.
Oh, good.
Mm.
I mean, and then the guy who plays it, Tyler.
Oh,
Who's the other one? The black guy who's on Marsha's side.
Christopher Darden.
Darden, that's it. I was thinking of Tyler Durden, but no, that's from Fight Club.
Mm.
But yeah, he was really
He was
good.
very good.
And I just thought there's such a fascinating
I think he
concept.
won an Emmy as well. Best supporting actor. I think.
I thought, yeah, the writing was solid, acting was solid. Just such an interesting show.
Yeah.
So, what does it just follow the trial?
Yeah, but from both sides. So
Oh,
you
right.
kind of you see the prosecutors, and they're trying to build the evidence against him,
Right.
which kind of seems overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then there's also like his team of lawyers, which has got like David Schwimmer plays Robert Kardashian, John Travolta's in it. He plays Rob Shapiro, and then obviously Johnny Cochran, who's like he's a black lawyer who's like really pushing it. But it's always there's really interesting themes that they're sort of. There's a part where all of the jury go around his house and they get to look in his house.
and they black it up.
And so his house is full of like him and his golfing buddies, but then they replace it with like tribal African art and stuff. And then O.J. Simpson's like, "You blacked up my house," and they're like, "Well, yeah, you need to get sympathy from the black voters."
Right.
And it's always like, do we play the race card? Do we not play
Right.
the race
Okay.
card? And then that's the same with the prosecutors. It was so interesting. You think, but what thing is that that he gets away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you watch it, and obviously they take dramatic liberties, but you think the evidence is so overwhelming. How did this guy not go to prison, like for this particular
Yeah.
crime? And I felt really sorry for the families of Nicole and her boyfriend. I can't
Did he
remember his
publish
name.
it? Did he publish
No,
it in a
that's
book afterwards?
Yeah. In the book, he basically said, "I didn't kill her, but if I had killed her, this is how I would have done it."
Yeah,
and then he was in prison for like armed robbery or something.
yeah. He
Can't be
released
done
a
to
book
that
called
crime, can
"I
Yeah.
Did It," but in really small letters. It says I did and then not do it or something. Which so that's fascinating. And they're doing more of those kind of reality American.
Versace brothers.
Versace.
Well, Making a Murderer, that was...
Versace brothers.
Is it brothers?
I don't know. I'm shocked that was that's the thing.
So Versace was murdered on his porch, and it was about who I think
Is it Versace brothers or am I making them up?
I think maybe just one,
Oh.
but I think they never caught who did it or the right person.
no idea.
And then there's one about Hurricane Katrina, and I think they're going to do one about
Katrina. How can you do one about Hurricane Katrina?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah, true.
But I was gonna say, to kind of like go off your point about you saying the thing about jury. There's another show I watch called Bull, and that's basically.
Oh,
about,
you watching it?
Yeah. That's basically about he's a team of like experts, and they're experts on jury selection. So they try and pick the jury adequately enough to make it the outcome come their way.
Okay.
Is it good?
I really like it, but then I like all that sort of stuff.
You love a crime
I love
procedural.
crime, like procedurals. I
I
love
have
all
to
that.
watch that because
I love all that.
that
stuff.
took my fancy when I saw
Yeah.
it. Sorry.
But, that's really interesting. Watch. So,
Have you seen How to Get Away with? No, not How to Get Away with Murder.
Making a Murder.
Make a
That's
Murder.
Ollie was
Yeah.
just going to mention that. Have you both seen it?
I haven't seen it.
I've seen it all.
I have as well.
It's like there's times where you think he's innocent, and there's times where you think right he's not innocent. Like it's so far fetched.
But this is a documentary though, right?
Yeah, and then
But weren't they reopening the case because of this?
yeah, I
this
think
came
so,
out?
but I don't know
Yeah.
how much has gone into it because they were gonna do. There was rumours they were gonna do a second season of it as the trial's going on, but I don't know how it is because in real life I'm pretty sure his nephew has now been released from jail.
His
I don't
nephew's
know.
in jail as well.
Well, his nephew is. We don't know if his nephew's got something wrong with him. He's a bit. He's a bit simple. That's the word. And basically, you see this whole 1-to-1 with him and an investigator, and an investigator's basically just feeding him stuff to say, and because he's doesn't know what's right and wrong, he's just regurgitating it to the audience.
Yeah. I mean, it's true what you say. You don't really know whether he done it or not because the sort of I forgot.
Take your time, Joe. Take your
Say
time.
again?
What's the word?
That's the thing. You've not been here for 8 weeks. It's a lot of talking to do.
On the crime scene, there's loads of
Evidence.
because the evidence that is there is sort of like meh,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then obviously he's got his alibis where he's been and where he's not, and obviously
Yeah.
the bit with the police finding.
I think the big problem with this whole series is that he has previously been convicted of something, but then released because they found out he didn't actually do it.
Yeah.
And I think that is then had the people, the police force. You get this idea that the police force then want to convict him
They're
for something
targeting.
else,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then it could be said that he's just using that as a way of getting him out because. You think some of the stuff that the nephew says is just can't be made up, and then you see these interviews with him and you think maybe they could be made up, and then you hear about evidence being there 1 minute, not being there another minute. It's
Police
just,
planting evidence.
Okay.
it is
Yeah.
messy, and
It just shows you that the corruption that can or cannot be.
yeah, and it's a bit of you kind of see this whole series hones in on the fact that you can't really tell if there is corruption or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also hones in on the point do you really want to point the finger and say there's corruption?
Yeah.
Because if you do that, are you poking the bear?
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Well, that's the thing. So I
It's
watched.
really interesting.
I watched a documentary called Tupac and Biggie, which is like this documentary filmmaker going around trying basically
I've seen that.
investigating the deaths of Tupac and Biggie Smalls, who were
Yeah.
both murdered, and I think there's elements of or allusions to police corruption there, but
Yeah.
obviously they can't really prove. No one's ever got. There was one of the people that they talked to was an ex-policeman who basically was saying, yeah, this was covered up, this was planted, blah blah blah. And I'm like, if you're saying this on camera, mate, why has this not gone to trial?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It baffles me
Someone
how
argue they don't care because the government doesn't like rap music.
true.
Could they have to sign something before it? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I just think like
Because if you can bring out a book that pretty much says that you killed someone and not go to prison for it afterwards, it's
yeah,
That's the law, man.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there. I don't know if it's the law here.
maybe he should serialized it into 3 cassette tapes, 13 cassette tapes even.
Well,
That would have been
if he wanted to do a
interesting.
short one, he could do 3.
All right, well, let's actually segue into 13 Reasons Why then. So, Chris, Joe, and I have seen all of it, and Obi, we've convinced to start watching it. So, Obes, what are your initial thoughts 4 episodes in?
Don't watch it if you're depressed.
I recommended this to you because I thought that you're quite into kind of American kind of teen
drama.
high school dramas, and this is very much in that vein.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
I'm in agreement.
It's not. Obviously, I'm only 4 and a bit episodes in, so there's only so much like I can say about it. Like, it's decent. It's not. Obviously, I do like my teen dramas, but it's not.
It's not happy like Glee.
Yeah, this is the thing. Yeah, like so the teen dramas that I watch, there's an element of happiness. Yeah, obviously there's some sad moments, there's some dramatic moments, but overall, the people in it are happy, they're having fun, whatever. In this, everyone's upset.
It's like you get this 20 seconds of happiness in this,
Yeah,
and then it's just
dropping
bang.
down to earth, and everyone's upset, everyone's pissed off.
Do you not think
everyone's
it's like tragically romantic between like Clay and Hannah Baker?
sad. No.
No? Fair enough.
at 4.5 episodes in, I don't even know if you could make that connection. Because
What connection?
there is any romance between Hannah and Clay.
Kind of can.
Yeah, I think there's...
I think it's a bit hit or miss. But like, I think you got with it is that nothing just goes right for her. It's just always going wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like-
what are your thoughts on it, Joe? Obviously, we won't spoil
Yeah.
past...
I thought that it was an okay TV show. It obviously wasn't the best TV show, but it was a good TV show, and it kind of gives you an insight onto how your actions and the way you interact with people can affect them, and it kind of gives you the feeling that what you're doing might be something that is going along with what this person's doing to affect this person, and is leading them down a path. So it kind of opens your eyes to how to interact.
Are you more
with people.
wary of your actions now?
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it's very because like I don't know if they made a series based in the UK similar to this. I don't know if it would have the same outlook because obviously it's Americanized quite a bit. So a lot of things or a few of the things that happen there wouldn't necessarily happen here.
Yeah.
Such as
Like in school, everyone would be wearing uniform, not their own clothes.
okay.
I feel like
how much does that make to the story?
None. I was trying to be funny.
Oh.
Didn't work.
Fair enough.
No, I don't know.
Like for me, I feel like if photos of someone were publicly thrown about the whole school, then some teachers would get involved, like heavy.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but that's one thing that I completely agree with you with, actually. This whole, they sent a text around to half the school. When we were in school,
number?
do you know what I mean? I have about, when we were in school, I had about 20 people's numbers. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have half people in my year's number, let alone half people in the school. So
Yeah.
I think that's that whole thing's a bit silly.
Yeah, but you don't know how it works in America. Like, obviously, we're not from there, so
Yeah.
you never know. They could all have each other's numbers.
But that's ridiculous.
But as well, the thing to look at is you have 20 people's numbers, but you have
They might have 20s.
Yeah, everyone's connected in some way.
True.
Thing for me is
Goss.
the series.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't one that I particularly thought was outstanding or great, but the one thing they did do is they do really delicately take the subject of suicide. I
Yeah.
think, and I was very worried for the last episode that they wouldn't do it delicately enough, and I think they did do it very well.
Yeah.
And I think the way that you see the family's portrayal of it, and like how there's so many different factors affecting them, as well as that it's just the whole world collapsing, and it's very deep and very emotional structure of it.
I think the way they portrayed the whole situation was
Yeah.
done very well.
I mean,
Very
like
realistically.
as Obi goes on into the series, I'm sure he might have some agreement with me that some of the events that happen, you would think different actions would have come about and consequences would have come about. I don't know if you're in agreement with me. Like episode 6, 7, 8, there's a few things that would have happened, and had you listened to this tape, you would have done something about it. And you'd think that if 7 other people had listened to this tape, one of them would have done something about it.
Yeah.
Because you don't necessarily, when the tape is being passed on, you don't necessarily know who it's been passed on to.
Yeah,
But you do, but your previous people don't. So if Ollie, Obi and Joe had the tape before he passed it to me, the only person who technically knows at this point is Joe.
No, because they all know, if they've listened to all the tapes, they know the order it's supposed to go in.
But you choose who it goes to.
But
No.
that's what Tony's there for.
You can choose who it
Tony's
goes to.
fucking annoying.
You-
man.
You can choose.
He's so fucking
I love
annoying.
Tony was my
You
favourite
can.
Why
character.
can
He's
choose?
always
But
there.
she.
Oh,
Who
mate.
are you?
I know,
And
but you can.
also,
Yeah.
this is just do casting. Half people in there don't look like they should be in high school. Half of them look like fully grown adults.
Yeah.
Especially Tony looks about 30.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I know.
carry on,
That's
so,
the
but
thing,
come
though,
on,
isn't
son.
it? I thought I enjoyed the TV show. I mean, enjoyed's probably the wrong word. I really appreciated the TV show.
Yeah.
There are elements outside of the actual plot that I really enjoyed. I thought the editing is incredible.
Yeah.
Like, so, for example, like the Clay, who's basically the main character who's still alive, he's listening to Hannah Baker's tapes, and Hannah Baker has committed suicide and kind of made 13 tapes of 13 reasons and 13 people with like why she built up to killing herself. And he'll be listening to her saying I was in the park with Justin and we shared our first kiss, and then the scene will be them in the park actually as it happens, and then the camera will pan to the right, and then the color will change from like a kind of really kind of saturated palette to like a more darker, duller palette, and then you'll see Clay. And so in that one camera movement, you've not only transitioned across time, but it's I thought
Motion.
Exactly, it's really, really good. I really appreciated that. I thought the way that they staged each set piece was done really well.
Yeah.
Obviously the plot point where you must have seen this bit where Clay crashes and he's got a cut on his head. Like, that's obviously one of the ways you can tell what's in the past and the present.
Yeah.
And there were other elements. There are other characters who indicate whether it's past or present,
Yeah.
which is not revealed till later, but I guessed quite early on. And I just thought it was. There's a lot I've got a problem with
Right.
this show.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that I think
Same.
for someone who throughout the show is presented as someone who doesn't have many friends, and who's quite lonely, to record 13 tapes and expect these people who didn't like her or who bullied her to listen to them and to pass them on. I don't think that would. I know this is not supposed to be that realistic, but I don't think that would ever happen. I think,
But you've got that almost people would say that they have had the threat.
Yeah.
but I think it's the arrogant. There's an arrogance in that, but I also think it's really horrible. I know.
Yeah.
I know that if people have bullied someone and this leads to someone killing themselves, that there should be repercussions. But to basically say that all of the people on these tapes are the reason that she killed herself is horrible, because she doesn't know if that would then cause some people to kill themselves. To put that sort of pressure and guilt on someone, and the fact that each person has their own individual tape kind of equates all of them on the same level.
Yeah.
But as you will establish later on, some people do things that are a lot worse to her and could probably be a reason just solely on their own that she kills herself. And I think, if someone's, writes, I hope you got to this point, writes a list and says that she's got a nice arse, obviously that's not nice, and, she might feel embarrassed about that. And, people kind of saying, oh, nice arse, and, feeling like they can then grab her or something. Like that, rather than someone...
He's got no soul, he's laughing.
I'm sorry.
But that compared to someone like, deciding not to be friends with her and thinking that she slept with her boyfriend or whatever. And some of the things, I think, is that a reason enough?
But
Obviously, people have different reasons why.
This is the thing. We will never know, the emotions that she would have gone through to lead up to that point. And she even says she doesn't specifically blame anyone, but she does say that all of them have contributing factors that led to it. So none of them got her to that point, but they all led her to that point.
Yeah. But then there are other characters within that show who also have equally shitty lives.
Yeah.
And I guess it's all, your own mental state. And but I just feel I also feel like if she'd actually taken the time to tell each person face to face, how they were making her feel.
Which is what the teacher said. In the first episode, she was like, she mocked it. She was saying, "Oh yeah, excuse me, you've hurt my feelings." She mocked it.
Yeah.
If you'd done that, maybe that would have resolved the situation.
Well, yeah.
See, I don't know necessarily that would have resolved the situation in some cases.
Knowing the characters that us three know, then that
you really think that if she told the drop guy that she was upset by it, that he would have then told everyone.
You can't say, "Oh, if she had done this."
I know.
I know. Yeah.
You
True.
don't always say that to everyone.
But
no, I know.
The thing for me in this whole series that I feel really sorry for Clay.
Oh, definitely.
I think, and you'll see this in, I think, episode 10, and I'm not going to say it, but you'll feel really sorry for him as well, I think. Yeah. And has Clay's got something wrong with him as well, hasn't he?
He's socially awkward, isn't
he? He has tablets and stuff.
He was taking tablets, but we don't know that was for nightmares, I think.
So
that's not really a spoiler.
So the fact is that it's probably affecting him a substantial amount more, especially because you probably get the idea that he likes her.
Yeah. 2,
his friend's gone, and 3, he's been blamed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or in Obi's case, up to that point, he feels he's been blamed, and he's curious to know what he's done.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, for me, it's not a spoiler, but I don't think he is getting blamed. I don't think she blamed him for anything, the way that I perceived it.
Well, we'll talk about that. Hopefully, Obi can finish watching it soon, because I'd really like to talk less in code about it. But it's an important series to watch. and it's been renewed for season 2, which I
Doesn't
was
make sense.
kind of baffled.
It will
by.
probably be
It's not-
set for another.
Nice revolves around
It does
Hannah
revolve
Baker.
around Hannah
Oh, really?
Baker.
Mhm.
Yeah,
How are they going to. Okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
But yeah, we'll keep you up to date with that. Anyways, anyone got anything lighter that we can?
Yeah, I do.
Talk about-
So,
Alright, cheers,
you guys were... I'm jumping in. Sorry, did you want to say
No,
something?
go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So, because we've been talking a lot about time travel, this week I've watched 1, 2 and 3 of Back to the Future.
Oh,
Bravo,
right.
bravo.
Have we all watched it?
Yeah.
I've seen
No.
the first one.
We all know.
I've got them on Blu-ray, but I've never seen them.
So I've never seen it, and I always think that time travel is a really touchy subject. And I've mentioned it before that if you aren't solely invested in it, then it just goes downhill very
Yeah.
fast. I don't know if Flash is. Well, it's difficult for me to understand.
Yeah.
But I fell in love with it. I saw the first one, and I thought this was wicked.
Yeah.
I loved it. Admittedly, like I postponed watching it for a long time, so I thought it was going to be a big letdown.
So what is the first one? What happens in the first one? Again?
He goes back in time to.
Is this the West? Like,
No, that's
No,
the
no, no.
third one.
He gets his mum and dad. Like his mum and dad are at the point they're not.
Oh,
getting
so
it
he's
back together,
he
so
wants
has
to get them.
work to get them
Oh,
together.
okay.
So
Yeah.
obviously, so he exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting concept actually. Yeah.
And they do the you can't meet yourself in
Yeah,
the time
yeah,
because
exactly.
the
It'll
time
fuck
will
up
collapse.
everything.
Yeah.
I would get well tempted to just be like, no, you got to sort out your hair there or something, or pull your trousers up, something like that.
So as a
good film.
trilogy, each of them like equally as good, or which?
They all relate pretty.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's so many layers.
I think with the trilogy, the first and second one are the better ones. The third one's okay, but it's not really great compared
Ask
to
you a
the
question
others.
about
Okay.
that. Sorry, about that thing you said about what we've been saying about meeting yourself in the past. And
Yeah.
Do you think if I met myself, but I didn't know that it was me, do you think it would have the same effect?
Like you in the future, because you wouldn't notice.
So like if I
recognise
went,
yourself.
yeah, so like if I went to the past,
And you
and
held
then-
yourself as a baby.
or some, yeah, even something like that, or if I went up to myself and I was like wearing a disguise or I had a mask on or something like that, do you think it would have the same effect, or is it only the fact of me recognising?
No, I think it's
Me
got to be
seeing
recognised.
myself.
I think it's because you are one of the parties who know who the other is. So.
Yeah.
See, 12 Monkeys is another TV series that does about time travel, which I think is really good, and I want to watch season 2. And he does this thing where if you got an item from the past and you got an item from the present and you put them together, it kind of like implodes and make like almost an explosion kind of thing, which I thought was pretty clever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah.
But in this, so yeah, the first one's about him getting his parents because he has a picture that he starts to vanish
Of his family,
because you know as things goes on and his quest
parents-
is not
His parents are
getting-
starting to divert from
Yeah.
their path, and then he brings them back.
Mm.
so that's a good way of checking out.
Is it if he sees himself, if he comes into contact with himself?
Comes
But-
into contact.
No,
he
because
sees
the
himself
dog
a couple of times.
talks to himself in the second one.
That's true.
But does he touch himself?
No.
I think it's if they come in contact with each other.
Mm.
Because in the first one, he sees himself, doesn't he?
Yeah,
So,
he does.
is there an episode of Futurama where is it Fry goes back and becomes his own grandfather or something?
Futurama is so jokes.
Fucking hell.
That does not surprise
So
me if
out
that
of
is the
the way.
case.
But there's a lot based on from Back to the Future that I didn't realise.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like his mum has an attraction to him because he goes back in time and he's like, oh my god, what the
Yeah.
fuck? This is
Yeah.
so rotten.
That's really weird. Yeah.
That is a good trilogy, though. Definitely
Yeah.
worth
I'm
a watch.
I
Definitely worth
it's
a watch.
Might have to get
pretty
them
high up
shoes.
there on the list that I want to watch.
Yeah.
They made the self-tying shoes, didn't they?
I was just
Yeah.
so
Real life.
happy. I was like loving it.
Yeah.
I was admittedly hungover a little bit, but I was like sitting
No,
down
it was
watching
good.
it.
Was good.
Fab.
Obes, you had some questions you wanted to ask
Oh, I
us.
did, yeah.
So
Okay.
I don't know what they are.
Oi, oi. What's this then?
Oh wait,
I don't know.
mate, are these
Ads?
questions related to anything that we've just spoken about?
Don't think so.
Then can I
Interviewee number
talk
one.
about more time travel stuff in relation to TV series?
Go on then.
Have any of you seen Sarah Connor
Chronicles.
Chronicles?
No.
No.
I mean the
Oh,
Terminator.
no.
Yeah,
The
Is Arnold
Terminator
Schwarzenegger
thing
in
is
it?
just fucked up.
it
No,
is. I think it's really good.
I think what was the latest one? Genesis.
Yeah.
Fucked it up.
With Christian Bale.
Yeah. No.
No,
The latest
it has
Emilia
the one.
Emilia
Yeah.
Clarke.
Yeah.
It has
Daenerys Targaryen.
The original trilogy, you sort of understood what was going on, but the Genesis fucked it up. I think.
well, the TV series is really good, and
Yeah.
it's based on the kid. Sarah Connor and her son, basically, and
Yeah.
how she knows that she's got to keep her son alive. John Connor.
Yeah.
She's got to keep John Connor alive in order to essentially save the world.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she's got this Terminator robot helping her out because it's been sent from the future
But not Arnie.
by not Arnie. It's been sent from the future by John Connor to help him out.
Yeah.
And it's almost this kind of love attraction between John Connor and the robot,
Oh,
but
right.
I don't know if she has
So-
the same attraction.
So where's Arnie?
I don't know. He's not there yet because he hasn't been made.
He's in the chopper.
But basically, the whole story goes on. I think it's really good. And then there's this greater threat because they're creating, what's it in Terminator they're creating? It's not Terminators they're creating something else. Basically, there's this other species of alien that are there on Earth, and they've got the ability. You know where Terminators can gel their arm into some like a spear.
Yeah.
It's them.
Oh, right.
And then John Connors wants to use this thing as a weapon against the Terminators.
Oh.
Something happens, and then the Terminator machine, who John Connor has a love interest with,
Yeah.
then does something and changes the timeline, and it ends on a cliffhanger where
Right.
John Connor has gone to the future, and John Connor is no longer the leader that
Okay.
he's meant to be.
It's going to happen. Well, the robot's taking over. It's
Yeah.
the future.
Yeah. He wasn't the leader in
Just
the
you
Christian
wait.
Bale one. Though. He was just like a general, not the commander.
Meh, I don't
Fair
know.
enough, yeah.
X-Men's another.
But it's pretty cool. I
confusing.
liked it. But yeah, I definitely recommend to
Listen,
watch it.
X-Men's made sense to me now. Someone plotted it all out.
Oh God, can you take a photo of that as well and
Yeah.
put it on
I will.
Instagram?
It's on YouTube.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well,
Pretty
how,
sure-
how long is the video? Is it a half hour long? I think I might have seen it.
Maybe.
Maybe
It's to
Is
do-
it not
it's to-
essentially
it's
just
to do
making a
with
new
Wolverine.
timeline?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Is it not essentially just making a new timeline?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
I can draw that out for you as well.
Are
if you
you
want.
clued up with it now, or do you still not get it?
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm a bit
I've,
iffy.
I've understood it
I'm
from the start. I don't think it's
I'm
that
anxious for
confusing, to
Obi's
be honest.
questions. Obi's question
Yeah,
time.
go on.
So we're
Oh,
finished on the
yeah.
TV
This
series.
should be-
Oh yeah, so to be fair, do we have anything else that, because this could be like an ending thing, so do we have
Okay,
anything
well,
else
I
we
wanted
speak
to mention that the news that HBO have hired writers to develop 4 spin-off Game of Thrones series, which bang on board with.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
series, not just films.
No series.
Crikey.
Do we
I-
know what characters they're following?
I think it's periods of time rather than specific characters.
Oh, okay.
So I think it would be like Aegon's Conquest, the Doom of Valyria, maybe Robert's Rebellion. I'd really like to see that.
Yeah, that would be quite.
I'd
And
see when who put up the wall against the White Walkers? Someone Stark, Brandon Stark, I think.
yeah,
So yeah.
okay.
I'd like to see that whole.
that would be quite interesting.
But what do we
that
think
should be-
about that then? Do we think that they're developing? Well, they're coming up with ideas for all 4 to simultaneously
Oh God.
develop,
Oh,
or
what?
would it be that they'll look at the 4 and be like, which one do we think's better,
Oh, I see.
or what's going to
They
happen?
could do it as like a. Do you think they could do like as like an anthology thing? So like,
Yeah.
They could do.
like 4 seasons. 1 season they focus on this time period. Another season focus on this
Yeah.
time
But
period.
I feel like-
think that'd be pretty.
I feel like each time period in itself could be several
True.
series.
But do you want it?
Yeah.
Is there enough to make it several series? And will it just drag on if they do several series of it? Or would they saturate it?
They probably could, but there's so much. I reckon because obviously George R. R. Martin's created such a detailed kind of universe.
Which he hasn't finished.
No, I mean fucking George R. R. Martin, please finish
he's
writing
he's
these
involved
fucking
with this,
books,
isn't he?
mate.
So how's he going to do
Just
that?
write the motherfucker. Like, I just want to read it, man. Like, I know you're making bare peas off of this TV show, but I just want to read, man. Anyway, yeah, do that. But I think he refers to a lot of details from the past, but not to the extent that I think writers would be able to have a lot of creative
Yeah, they would. have freedom.
license with this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he might mention that, I don't know, that, I don't know, Obi in the year 2000 built the wall, and that in 2040, you know that
Lego.
Ollie was there.
Yeah.
So, you know, that you got like a 40-year period where you can create characters, and as long as the characters you create
Yeah.
that aren't mentioned later on die, you know, they've got so much.
Do we know how many
Right.
episodes each of these series are going to be?
Nah, I assume there'll be
Still in
10.
development.
But I would
Yeah,
happily
you assume
watch.
10 because of.
I would happily watch any and all of
Oh, yeah,
those.
me
What's the latest season of Game of Thrones? 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this
They've all
one
been-
coming
they've
up is
all
going to
been
be
10, haven't they?
7 or 8.
Oh, sorry, you're right. 7. You're right.
And then it'll be
7.
6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can't wait for that. Hopefully, at least one of them is developed. I hope, because I'm
Probably.
definitely keen for
Yeah.
more. And they've also like George R. R. Martin's done a Dunk and Egg anthology, which is like set in the past, like Egg's Aegon. So, you know, he could develop that. I mean, they're short little stories, but they're quite interesting.
Like you can turn Harry Potter's Fantastic Beasts into 5 films. I'm sure you can make.
If you can turn The Hobbit into 3 films, in you know. So looking forward to that. And then there's also a little bit more TV news in terms of, like we mentioned briefly earlier, The Runaways is now going to be a TV show. Chris, do you know anything about?
I have no idea anything about The Runaways.
So it's Marvel based, but I don't really know.
Hulu are producing it.
Hulu, but don't know who they are. I don't know.
No.
Streaming service, isn't it?
Yeah. No, but I'm not. I don't know.
Oh, The Runaways.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna scream.
I don't know either.
I think it's a load of just a
kids with powers.
Yeah, kids with powers, and they're like all misfits and stuff like that. And I think this might be completely wrong, but I think they're fighting, inverted commas, against their parents, but they don't know that their parents are the people that they're fighting against.
Oh.
I think it's something like that. I might be completely wrong with that.
I feel like
It's real life, mate.
I feel like Marvel TV is going to get saturated a bit.
Oh yeah.
They've also got
Loads of people rave about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like they've brought in Ghost Rider and stuff like that, and people really liked it. So, and then to be fair, Marvel seemed to know when to stop because Agent Carter wasn't doing enough, so they stopped it. So
do they know when to stop? Do they, Chris?
Well,
but
it's all a matter of opinion, I guess.
You can't really see how much you could do with Agent Carter, like up to a point.
She has like 40 years before Captain America's found again.
I know,
so,
but she's not got superpowers or anything like that.
But she's a government body that.
Also, there was not a lot of enthusiasm for the Inhumans picture, that the poster or whatever they released.
Yeah,
that was kind of like a muted response.
Well,
I know people just thought it looked a little bit crap.
Well, because I saw someone remade the image, so they put that image and they remade it to make it look like actually what Black Bolt's character's meant to look like, and his, I assume, wife or sister. Because thing is, I don't know how they're going to make this series, because I am of the belief that Black Bolt, if he speaks, could like break the Hulk's arm.
Yeah.
If he speaks, so he's had to train himself not to like snore at night, talk. He has to be mute, otherwise he could like kill everyone.
What's this guy? He's just got really loud.
No, his voice.
It's like Mr. Manhattan from.
He's got very strong vocal cords.
Yeah.
But then also his wife Medusa's power is that she can control her hair. I was like, oh wow, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, it's one of those series where I think it's a spin-off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are talking about it so much, and then also a spin-off because they didn't want to make the film anymore. Bless you.
Bless you, Joe.
So, I mean, yeah. Maybe it'll be only one season long.
It'll be pretty shit, but watch it anyway.
Will they integrate it into the Avengers? I don't know.
Well, all of them have been sort of integrated now.
Can't they just CGI Robert Downey Jr. like they do now? Apparently they're just going to CGI everyone who's, dead, not dead.
Any more movie news, film news, TV news, comments?
I probably do have some, but I just can't think of it right now, so...
Alright, so on to Obi's question time.
There should be a segment in future podcasts.
I've got several questions. So, two of them are TV related and / film related. Most of them aren't. So, do you guys want? I'll give you one TV one and then one.
It's your hosting, mate.
This is your segment.
This is your time to show us.
He's got a page.
This is your time to show us that you should be host over Glenn. Do it.
Ooh, controversial.
Wow.
Again, I would never do that to you.
Gosh, mutiny.
One episode, mate. It's alright.
First question is: you're in a covert prison with high level security. You have one phone call. Which TV character would you call to break you up?
Jack Bauer.
Why?
Oh, Obi.
Why?
Jack Bauer, mate.
Explain.
Because that man could kill everyone inside and just get me out like that.
It could be a film character as well, actually.
Would you not call Wentworth Miller? It's like, mate, how many people you broken out of prison? Like, break
you can do without killing anyone, probably.
Yeah, but Wentworth Miller would take ages.
Actually, I want loads of people to die on your, because of you, though.
Nah.
How do you know that loads of people don't die?
It's Jack Bauer, though.
No, I suppose.
Actually, I'd call the guy from Shawshank Redemption.
Oh yeah, Andy Dufresne.
Actually, I might just call who's the girl who can run through walls in X-Men? Kitty, is it? I'll just get her to come and get me.
Nice. That's
run through walls, grab me, run out.
Yeah,
done.
Decent, Joe.
I'm not sure. I'd call the Hulk. Fuck it, why not?
Oh, why?
Because It would be dramatic and loads of explosions and loads of rubble everywhere.
I think there should have been a 2-part question.
And it would be really quick.
One
I'd
was
just
suit-
punch the wall and I'd go.
But does
One was
you
super
call the
hard.
Hulk up and the Hulk's just like, "Arr!" And you're like, "Oh, Hulk, come meet
yeah,
me."
but
And he's like,
Hulk does listen to them kind of in the Avengers.
he doesn't speak. He's not gonna. He's not
He
gonna.
does when he's Worldbreaker Hulk.
Actually, I would call Baby Groot, mate.
Baby Groot.
What can he do?
They do
I would
break
just,
out
I would
of
just
prison.
happily sit in prison with Baby Groot. I didn't want to break out, mate.
Ollie, who would you call?
Who would I call?
Who would you call?
Shit, I literally just had their name on the tip of my tongue.
Gimli.
Literally just on the tip of
You'd
my
get
tongue.
JD to come and get him.
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
To be fair, it could have been a 2-part question. One, people without powers. and
I'd
one,
have-
people with
yeah.
powers.
So character-wise, it would be Sylvester Stallone character from that film, Escape Plan.
Okay.
Okay.
I've never seen it, so.
His job is to get out of prisons,
Okay.
so it'll be like on time.
Interesting.
Like
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, who would you? Who would you?
Who would
call?
I? To be fair, Jack Bauer. I would have gone with Jack Bauer. Alright, second question. This is a bit out there. Alright. So, your family's been kidnapped. The only way you can get them back is to start World War 3.
Oh, so you're
Do
gonna
you-
say
do you do
Liam Neeson?
Do you do it?
How far is like
No.
what family is they?
Immediate family.
Immediate family.
The only way you can get them back is start World War 3. And also, in the course of World War 3, you're not immune. So you could easily just like it.
Well,
So
where
they
are my
could die
family
as
right
well.
now?
Like, you don't know where they are.
So they could be alright.
Is this like blood relatives or like you can consider people family that
It's
aren't
your,
actually
it's your
blood
brothers, your
relatives?
sisters,
Like
your
us,
mum,
yeah.
your dad.
Immediate family.
No, I ain't have nothing on my conscience.
What,
Either
so
way-
start World War 3?
No.
Either way, you have.
Huh? You wouldn't?
No.
You just let your family be kidnapped? Never see them again?
Yeah, but they're not necessarily dead if they're kidnapped. They might die if I start World War 3.
This question's deep, man.
I've got a
a
particular set of skills.
What are you trying to do to
I'm
us?
trying to- I'm trying to
You
make-
answer that first,
I'm
mate,
trying to
and
make you
then,
think.
It's like things like, would you let your dad die to save your mum or something? Like, Jesus.
No. But let's say the scenario of kidnapping that I'm going to give you, there's a 60% chance they'll die.
I'll sell
I'll
my
take that.
family down the river. Prevent World War 3.
Yeah.
Depends how much do I love my family.
How much do you
Have
love your family?
I been abused as a child?
Jesus
This
Christ.
is your life,
This
Joe.
is the thing
You
I don't
tell
know.
Joe.
Yeah,
Have you?
But you do know it's your family right now.
This,
Right
is,
now.
this is hypothetical. I'm speaking hypothetically.
Yeah, but the hypothetical's aimed towards you in your life as you are right now, Joseph.
Yeah, fuck it. Bring on World War 3. Let's go.
Chris.
Oh, mate, I'm going to kidnap your family during World War 3 if you start it.
Chris?
I'm so confused. I'm gonna go with what Joe said.
Start World
You
War
like
3.
evil. This is the
What'd you
this
do?
is the period.
What'd you do?
I'm starting World War 3. I wouldn't even have to think about it. Honestly, I'm starting World War 3. I literally wouldn't have to think about it. But
I would then try and prevent World War
Where's
3.
modern age Hitler?
Yeah.
Free world. I don't give a monkey.
That's it. In like 100 years, there's going to be TV shows where people like the Flash go back in time and try and stop you free. You know.
Well, Flash is here. Can he save my family at the same time?
True. There's only two. I have a few more, but
Ooh.
No, go on, one more.
We have one more.
Let's
We
go.
have one more. Okay.
This is enjoyable.
Okay.
No.
Something's going so stupid. wait. Okay. No, okay. I like this one. Alright. Would you rather live the most exciting life, achieve everything you want, and you die at the age of 33, or you live a very neutral life? You accomplish next to nothing, but you live to be 90.
I'd
That
rather
one.
die at 33,
33,
mate.
Yeah,
Nah,
that's one.
second one.
Live to
Why?
90.
Pretty much.
Your life's not shit.
Mate, I ain't gonna
But
achieve
it's
anything
not-
in this life
but it's
now,
not-
so I'd rather
but
live
it's
to
not-
99.
Your life's
Do you know
not
what I mean?
shit, but you live. You're an average Joe.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, wow.
What are you trying
Wow.
to say?
Oh, sorry,
Prick.
mate.
You're an average.
You're an average Frank. You're an average critic.
You're an average critic.
And you live to 90, but you don't really like, you don't really.
I'm going for that
accomplish
one.
anything.
33.
At 33, you're the man. You know.
Live
Yeah.
fast, die young.
Live
innit?
fast, die young.
Exactly.
Ollie,
33.
live fast, die young.
Yeah.
Thought so.
33.
33.
Yeah.
Nah, 90.
Spot me,
Yeah.
Chris. Living till 90. Man.
Is that-
You're not gonna
Yeah.
die, bro.
Mate,
Yeah,
that's,
but you're going to die anyway.
that rumour of that
Yeah, but
serum
that's
that
60
keeps you
years
alive
later.
forever, mate. I'm having it, mate. I'm having it.
God, I can imagine, like, you just, I don't know.
Be sitting there watching TV series till days end, mate.
In it, literally. That's the end of Obi's question time. We need to insert theme music.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed that.
Next week, I can't wait for the questions.
Yeah, exactly. You better keep thinking these
I'll try,
questions.
I'll try.
Mate,
And
I,
if
I
you-
want my own segment. I need to figure out something to do. Damn it.
And if you listeners have got any questions for us, such as like that, please do.
How would you answer those questions that I just asked?
Yeah. So what? Go through them again. What are the three
The
questions?
three questions were: if you were in a high security prison, who would be the first? You only have one phone call. Who would you call to come and break you out?
Ghostbusters.
The second question was: what was the second question?
So
Your
which-
family,
World War
your
Three.
family have been kidnapped. The only way to rescue them is to start World War Three. Would you do it? The third question was: would you rather live the most exciting life, achieve everything you want, but you die at 33, or live a very average Joe life, you don't really achieve anything, but you live till 90?
Cool. Yeah, we'll tweet your answers in YSC Podcast 17. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Your Average Critics. Also, check out our previous 13 episodes on SoundCloud and iTunes. Last week's one was a bumper 3-hour Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. We've also spoken about Free Fire. We talk a lot about anime, mostly superhero stuff. We've got Ghost in the Shell. We've spoken about life. Anything that comes out,
And the film.
we talk about it. So yeah, please do give us a subscribe, a like, a share, a listen, and let's try and reach all 200 or so countries.
Yeah, man.
So thanks for taking the time to listen, and see you next week.
Peace.